the call for applications came out sometime around November 2015, and I had been checking the website, NASA website, for applications on a regular basis, and I can't remember exactly how I found out, if I had just stumbled onto the NASA website or it was a tweet, but it came. I remember this big call out on the news and everything, so that's how I found out about it. So I started my application, and I had been thinking about NASA since really the start, early years of medical school, so it would just worked out to be perfect timing. So I put in an application in, and it closed in February 2016, and then I think there was about a half year before NASA having to go through all those applications, where they came down to a group of 120, and that they asked to fly down to Houston for interviews, which was an amazing process. I met such talented and motivated and compassionate people along the way, all of whom would have made great astronauts. And after the first round of interviews, there was another cut for a second round of interviews, and I was called back to Houston along with some other phenomenal candidates again. And then from there, was notified that I was lucky and honored enough to be among the next class of astronauts. I was so ecstatic. I was grocery shopping, and I was trying not to make a scene, and not to mention, my heroes were on the other end. BK, Chris Cassidy, and Ann Rummer were on the line, telling me that I was selected, and I wanted to keep my cool. Like, look, they selected me, don't lose it. But I was freaking out inside, and after I got off, I was jumping up and down, and I went over to my wife and let her know the news. And everyone, I'm sure people were looking at us in the grocery store, but we were just so happy. We were on cloud nine. And the hard part was that I couldn't tell my son immediately, because I knew he would inevitably tell all of his friends, and we had to keep it, keep it a secret until NASA revealed us to the public. So once we made the trip down to Houston, and I knew that he was kind of cut off from everyone, he's not old enough to be on a cell phone or on Twitter or Facebook. That's when we knew we could tell him, and he was ecstatic. He was so happy, and it was an amazing experience. For me, at least, I studied mathematics as an undergraduate, and for me, that was really applicable. The skills I learned in math, the reason, logic, approaching problems in a very logical fashion, taking it apart, using critical thinking, those were applicable in so many aspects of my life, and that translated to a career in medicine, where, especially in the emergency room, where you may have undifferentiated patients that are very sick, and you have to approach each problem in a logical sequence. So I think it's absolutely important for America to remain the super country that we are, and be a leader in innovation and technology, that we have to embrace the STEM fields. I certainly don't think I would be where I am today without that kind of background. I think maintaining, for me, a good work-life balance. Being a special operator in the Navy was one of the toughest things that I've ever done. I think, fortunately for me, I didn't have a family at the time, so it was and I can't imagine our servicemen and women who go into harm's way overseas and train so hard when they have families that they have to come home to, and sometimes don't come home to. I can't imagine what that is like. But for me, it's been trying to be a good resident physician, trying to be a good father and husband, and really answer all those different calls. And for me, what's been most helpful is just having the support of my friends, and most importantly of my spouse and my children along the way, being there for me. And I wouldn't be where I am today without their support, without the support of mentors and leaders and friends and colleagues. So I'm so thankful for everyone today, and I hope I can still continue that balance between work and personal life. But I want to do a lot of good things. I want to be part of this team and contribute a lot to the NASA mission. This is still some of the first days on the job. I don't have all the details. I have general idea. And astronauts are very grounded operators. They have experience in a lot of different things, and I think most importantly, they're very trainable to learn different skill sets. I think some of the main points that we'll be learning during our next 2 years is how to operate various parts of the space station, some pilot skills. There's going to be some survival training, some Russian language training, spacewalks or EVAs, as they call it, and various other things. So I'm very, very excited and humbled to be here and learn as much as I can from all the gifted people here at NASA. I mean, I'm just happy to be along for the ride. I'll go wherever NASA tells me to go. I'll do whatever is most helpful to the overall mission and to the team. But of course, I'd be ecstatic to go to the space station, to go back to the moon, to venture out into deep space, to a Mars mission. I mean, I definitely volunteer for any of those and all the above. So I think I'd be happy doing anything, as long as I'm contributing some good to NASA and being part of the team. I'll just be happy doing that. I would say don't let that hunger for the unknown, that curiosity ever go away. It's so important, and maintain that passion in what you do. Certainly pursue your studies in the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. I think the skill sets and the scientific method you develop while learning those different fields is absolutely important to being an astronaut. And just believe in yourself. And I want to give a heartfelt message to kids who may have big dreams but may not have the confidence that they think they could do these things. And I certainly was one of those kids where I certainly had dreams as a kid, but I never thought I could have I never in a million years could have thought I could have been an astronaut candidate. I didn't have all the confidence for most of my childhood, but dreams are possible. All good things in life are hard to get, but persevere, don't give up, and most importantly, believe and love yourself. One of the most proud organizations I'm just so proud to be a part of is the Tillman Foundation. Pat Tillman is a huge hero and inspiration to me, and I guess what the message I would give to the other Tillman scholars is that you are all very, very special and inspiring and motivated, and you're natural leaders, and that's why you are a Tillman Scholar. And don't give up that quench to contribute something positive in our society and to believe in yourself, because I know that America's future leaders will come from the cohort of excellent Tillman Scholars that we have. Your military experience and your background as an active duty member or as a spouse will certainly carry you through a lot of the obstacles that face you in the future.